This is Partners in Crime with Adam Croft and Robert Dawes.
Back we are. That was a week off, in case you hadn't noticed, and you probably haven't.
No, you probably hadn't, and it's flown by, but we are back.
Well, I must say, I did mention in the last episode of Partners in Crime 2 weeks ago that we would be joined next week, or last week as it now is, by the wonderful Rachel Amphlett. I kind of called her out on the show for that and announced that she would be doing it without having asked her. And mea culpa, I probably should, because she wasn't available.
Presumptuous.
I know. And you were off sunning yourself, so I had a week off, basically.
Oh, really? So there wasn't an episode last week?
No, I sat here and I just didn't do it. So we are now back.
So this is episode... What number episode is this?
I think we're on 74.
We're on 74?
I believe so, yeah. I should have double-checked, actually, shouldn't I? Yeah. That would have been a good thing to do. Should I have a quick look now?
Well, so it should be 75, because we should have done 74 last week.
Yeah, well, it should be about 80-something, because we have missed quite a few over the years. But
reckless abandonment of our listeners.
Yeah, well, we've got to have a
I'm sure they'll survive. I'm sure they are surviving.
I'm sure they need a break as much as we do.
So here we are. You've had somewhat inclement weather.
We've had
two Englishmen.
We've had lots of wind.
Weather non-stop.
We had a lot of wind while you were away, which is very odd. That's quite the opposite of what most people would expect, perhaps.
Well, very little wind where I was, but lovely sunshine. Very hot. I've never been away in August before, and I understand why, because it's absolutely sweltering on the continent.
Yeah.
It really is. I'm not complaining, because it was lovely, but it was a little too hot for me. I sort of very glad I took my Panama hat. I sort of meandered around looking a bit sort of Graham Greenish or Somerset Mornish or whatever it is. Anyway, that was a holiday that was, but now we're back.
Well, who would have thought you'd go away for a week and we'd be left with the wind?
Yeah, well, let me just have a slurp here.
All the sound effects.
Oh, delicious.
If you want to get in touch with the show, and I'd imagine there's probably a few things you do want to bring up with us by now, you can email hello@partnersincrime.online. That's probably the easiest way. A couple of people have since the last show.
Oh, pray do tell.
Hello to Alison Valentine, who says, I hope you're all having a great week. Just to touch on what Rachel said when Bob was away. This was the previous time you were away, not the time you were away when Rachel actually couldn't do, but the one before that.
Don't even ask me to go there. I can't work that out at all.
We spoke about The Chain by Adrian McKinty. She wanted to say she thought it was a fantastic novel with so many twists, not chists. Fantastic read. I hope Rachel enjoyed it too. Also, I listen while cooking in the kitchen. I hope you don't burn yourself, Alison. Be very careful, won't you? Because you never know what we might make you do. I'm not even sure what that was meant to mean. It was meant to be a bit of a joke, and as I was saying it, I thought, this sounds rubbish. I'm just going to stop there.
Sounds slightly sinister.
No, it wasn't meant to. Just be careful. Don't listen to lunatics while you're in the kitchen. That's what I meant. And Amber Rush got in contact to say we were talking about adaptations for TV and film a few weeks back. She said, personally, I think crime fiction doesn't always work as TV shows or other media. One way I have seen this is Tennyson by Linda LaPlante. The book allows you to imagine what the scenes look like and how the characters are reacting, whereas the films and TV shows tell you how to think in a certain way. Also, the written version allows more depth and character to come through, for example in postmortem or autopsy, whereas the TV show can only show certain amounts and can't necessarily show all of the procedure. However, in some cases it does work, such as the Constable novels by Nicholas Rea, Peter Walker, adapted to make the Heartbeat TV show, which ran for 18 years. I also think it depends on the director and actors who are playing the roles.
Well, yes, absolutely. Spot on.
The thoughts there of Amber Rush.
Thank you, Amber.
Also, when you get to your recommendations, we'll do this in a bit more detail, but the Kobo promotional codes, we had a bit of a hiccup with those. It seems that the Partners promo code for some people isn't working, and for others is. As we understand it, the safest way to make sure the Partners promo code works, and we'll get the details of it all a little bit later, how it does work, is to go through the link in the show notes to the eligible titles.
Oh, right.
I believe that is the best way. We're still waiting on some clarification on that. But I understand Kobo are on the case.
It's a bit of a mystery then, is it?
It is. It's a mystery of its own. Maybe we could do a double header hour-long episode special on it at some point in
Mystery
the
of the
future.
Missing Promo.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a very modern title, that.
So I presume, having been away, you've been reading, have you?
Yeah, I have, do you know? I have been reading. I'm having a lovely time, thank you very much indeed. And I've come straight back and I've been watching a bit of television as well, which is what I'm going to start off with today. For those of you missing the bridge or the tunnel, there is some couple of critics have called it a bit of a shameless pinch, but there is a new German-Austrian co-production called Der Pass on Sky Atlantic, and I thought I'd give it a look, and I'm hooked. Fresh off of the back of Money Heist, which I recommended last time, which I hope many of you have managed to catch up with, which was absolutely superb. We have an altogether different sort of feel here. Susie Fiai in the Financial Times sums it up pretty well, so I'm going to use her words, if I may, to describe Der Pass. Gently falling snow, trees and mountains, a grotesque corpse, and a female investigator in a fetching jumper. No, I'm not referring to a new Scandi noir, but to German language thriller Der Pass on Sky Atlantic. Episode 1 is heavy on atmosphere and menace, the throbbing unease beneath seemingly innocuous scenes signalled by an unnerving soundtrack. Not that we need a wail of brass to tell us that there's something eerie about the sole deciduous tree in a forest of evergreens. A patch has been cut clean out of its trunk and posted to the Munich journalist covering the murder story. His attitude, a heavily sarcastic, "I'm from the Ruhr, I love mountains," clues us in to how this hunter-haunted alpine backwater appears to clean, efficient modern Germany. Ellie, by contrast, the daughter of a hunter, fits in perfectly. If you don't want to see her rip the skin off a rabbit, look away. The frozen body has been posed in a ritual way with something creepily suggestive clutched in its fists. It's actually posed over a border stone, with a head in Germany and the rest of it in Austria. As one of the detectives say, the Austrian detective says to the German detective, that sounds like a joke, doesn't it? One of us gets the head and the other one gets the ass, which is, I thought, quite a good line. Where was I? A tape of the murder victim
You got
emerges.
quite tickled by that, didn't you?
Yes, I was. I completely lost my... That's terrible laughing at your own jokes. It wasn't even mine. A tape of the victim emerges, babbling things like, "I come from hell," and "the red time of year is coming." One of these days, trees will get together in a class action libel suit to protest at regularly being presented as evil. Borders, the magical lines of protection we draw between ourselves and others, prove thematically crucial in this chilly, antler-strewn mystery. Well, I've seen the first one and I'm hooked on it. It seems very well made, very well acted, and some people have said, well, you know, it's bridge light, it's tunnel light. I don't care. I love those series, and I'm going to give this one a very good chance. So there it is. It's on Sky Atlantic. It's looking good to me. Maybe you'll have a look at it and let us know what you think.
Lovely jubbly, that sounds good. I've been combing the news, as I am wont to do, and something I spotted while you're away is the rumour, as we now understand it to be, that Lee Child is lined up as one of the judges for next year's Booker Prize.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is interesting, seeing as there's a crime fiction novel on the shortlist this year.
Yes, there is.
It says here in an article in The Times, the move to invite Child, who has sold more than 100 million novels worldwide, to judge the Booker Prize will raise eyebrows among the literary establishment. Crime fiction writers have often faced snobbery from those who see their commercially successful craft as lacking literary merit. And there's a quote from Andy Martin, who has written a book called With Child, about the time that he spent with the author. He mentions the fact that Lee Child would have read most of those books anyway, because apparently he reads more than 300 books a year. He's an insatiable reader. Good. So he'll have probably read most of the books before they're even on the long list anyway. But
300 books.
Apparently so. Yeah. Booker have remained tight-lipped, as the bookseller reported a couple of days later. They haven't commented on whether he will be judging the joining panel for 2020. They haven't said he won't be. But then again, they haven't said he will be either, so that is completely meaningless. But yeah, there is the rumour is that he may well be on the list next year. Not on the list probably, but on the judging panel. So therefore, he won't be on the list. But yeah,
Well, that's good, and that's a move in the right direction, isn't it?
it certainly is. Yes,
yeah.
it certainly is. Also noticed in the news on a website called CumbriaCrack.com. Intriguing.
I recognise there's a photograph.
Yes, a photo of Sophie Hannah with the festival organisers of Morecambe and Vice, where we will be appearing
Ben and Tom.
in
yes,
just a few weeks' time, in fact, when we take Partners in Crime live to Morecambe and Vice. You got a little mention, if you see there, look. We had screenwriters, theatre producers, and even stage and screen legends of Robert Dawes and Hugh Fraser. It was excellent, they said.
That's very nice. So it was absolutely marvellous. We were in the Winter Gardens last year, as you know, and this year we are in the iconic Midland Hotel, much seen on television and filmed, because whenever they want a period-looking venue, that more than fits the bill. So we're looking forward to that very much indeed. And they have a whole section which, of course, it's called Morecambe and Vice, because there's a wonderful statue of Eric Morecambe on the seafront, and that's of course where he came from. And they have another section which is called Bring Me Some Crime, which I think is very good. So it's a great festival. We've mentioned it several times before, and Tom and Ben are greatly innovative, I think, in their presentation and the way they go about their business. And it's a terrific lineup of writers this year. So
it is, yes. 28th and 29th of September 2019 at the Midland Hotel in Morecambe in the northwest of England. Do come along if you can. Tickets are available from morecambecrimefest.co.uk, or just search for Morecambe and Vice. We'll try and put a link in the show notes as well. A little note there for Moriarty. And yes, it's a great programme of things that are on, actually. Some wonderful names popping up. Quentin Bates is there. Some guys called Robert Dawes and Adam Croft. Noel Holton is there. Dr. Liz Brewster. Lots of names that you'll know if you are into your crime fiction. And of course, the big one for us is on Saturday, the 28th of September. From 2:30 until 3:15, we will be recording a live episode of Partners in Crime in front of a live studio audience, which is something we've not done before. We've done a live episode.
yes, how are we doing about that? I mean, you're the engineer here. How was that sort of?
Well, I don't know if it will be broadcast
Not live, but we'll be recording it.
Yeah,
Okay.
It'll probably come out the following Friday. It will be recorded. It will be done in front of a live studio audience. So if you do want to see the episode, or hear the episode, or experience the episode in some form a week before anyone else does, then come and get your tickets for Morecambe and Vice, and come and see us doing this live in front of an audience, which is
lovely to see you.
Yeah, it's
really
also
will.
very scary.
Is it? Yes, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yes, I suppose it is really. But no, it's a challenge. I think it's a wonderful challenge, which we will do our best to rise to. I mean, talking about festivals in Lancashire, I've just got back from one this weekend, so I'm not going to push that. I went to a marvellous literary festival with a twist. It's Words and Food at the Northcote Manor Hotel, which is a wonderful hotel in the Ribble Valley at Longo, and had a terrific time there. I mean, it really is quite beautiful, and a wonderfully run hotel, and gave a talk there with several other writers. The wonderful Lucy Atkins was there last week as well, and I'll be looking at her latest book, The Night Visitor, which is she's a terrific psychological crime writer, as well as journalist and authors of other books as well, and several other people. But you actually, at Northcote, you also get a Michelin star meal cooked by the wonderful executive chef at Northcote, Lisa Goodwin Allen, and I had 2 meals up there, and they were absolutely delicious. So, and it's a great place to stay in a beautiful part of the country, which I don't know very well, but I'm hoping to get to know much better. So that comes about every year, so look out for next year's. It's a week-long festival out there at Northcote, Food and Words, and it's great fun, and you'll get a tremendously warm welcome by Craig Bancroft and his marvellous staff.
Is Hugh Fraser unwell? I noticed you were doing the restaurant review this time.
No, No, he should have been there, shouldn't he?
He should.
Yes.
If there's a restaurant to be reviewed, Hugh's the man for
He
the job.
certainly is. He might have been. I'll give him a call this afternoon and
Find
ask
out.
him.
Yeah, we'll have to get him on to do a little bit, won't we?
Our food expert, Hugh Fraser.
That's it.
Who knew? Who knew?
Partners in Crime, restaurant critic. Did we cover this in a previous episode? I feel like I'm having an episode of deja vu here.
Yeah.
The Belfast Telegraph reported that Nicola Sturgeon, the First Minister of Scotland, oddly enough, is going to interview Ian Rankin at a book festival next month at the Bloody Scotland Crime Writing Festival in Stirling. Did we cover this?
Where else?
I don't think we did talk about this.
No, I don't think we did, no.
I've obviously seen it and just stored it somewhere. She appeared on stage with the fun-loving crime writers last month.
Did she sing a song? Did she play a musical instrument? Did she join in?
I don't actually think I want to know. She apparently is a keen reader and fan of crime fiction. She joined them at Harrogate. Oh yes, it says here she sung backing vocals.
Perfect.
So she's going to be interviewing Ian Rankin, which is odd, frankly, but great too.
Well, why not? I'm sure she's got some good, fantastic questions to ask.
Yeah, well,
some
we
of
love
them
these.
political, possibly.
Possibly so, yeah. We love these episodes where crime fiction kind of permeates into different areas, don't we?
Yeah.
And it kind of goes outside of its remit and links up with other worlds. And this is an example of that. So I thought that was well worth bringing up. Something else we need to do is to congratulate friend of Partners in Crime, Stephen Booth.
Yes.
His latest Secrets of Death, or one of his latest Secrets of Death, was the number one borrowed title in East Midlands libraries last year, showing the importance of writing local, I suppose. Because
is that a Cooper and Fry novel? I think it is.
It is, yeah, the 16th one. So it kind of shows the importance of writing within your local area, or one of the benefits of rooting it somewhere is that the people in that area seem to love the Cooper and Fry books. It's most borrowed books in
not only that area, we love them in Bedfordshire as well, don't we?
Absolutely,
and people love them in many counties and countries around the world.
We do, yeah.
Well, that's fascinating, interesting. Talk about this isn't a segue because you weren't talking about the blast from the past, but it fits under the crime banner, crime thriller, certainly, mystery and imagination. Quite literally, we got back from holiday, and Amy, my wife, has become absolutely hooked with our youngest daughter on the Roald Dahl's Tales of Mystery and Imagination from the 70s. And over the last couple of days, we've actually sat and watched the whole of the first series. And they're terrific. They really are. I mean, they're very much period pieces in lots of different ways, certainly in production and occasionally in acting. But they're terrific stories. And, I didn't really see them the first time round, actually, because I was at drama school and whatever, and you didn't watch television when you at that age that much. But so I'm catching up with them. Wonderful cast. I mean, they had big American stars over, like they had Joseph Cotton and Jose Ferrer and Elaine Stritch and whatever, but with a host of terrific British actors, including John Gielgud. So I mean, they're easily got. I think, I don't know whether they're on Netflix or whatever, but you'll be able to catch up on them. So that's Roald Dahl's Tales of Mystery and Imagination, which I think ran to about 4 or 5 series of about 12 each. So there are lots of wonderful stories. But if you fancy a little bit of a thrill and a rather dark twist, then look no further than those particular series.
Excellent. I don't have anything else at the moment.
Well, I do. I'm going to carry on then. In the middle of that huge.
I thought I could wing it, but I thought
you failed to take off. It was like the early Wright brothers' attempt to leave terra firma.
I'll pass the buck back to you.
Okay. Well, I've got a book which I'm going to recommend now by writer Fiona Barton. It's called The Suspect, and it's caused it's been very, very well received, to put it very mildly, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. When 2 18-year-old girls go missing on their gap year in Thailand, their families are thrust into the international spotlight, desperate, bereft, and frantic with worry. Journalist Kate Waters always does everything she can to be first to the story, first with the exclusive, first to discover the truth, and this time is no exception. But she can't help but think of her own son. who she hasn't seen in 2 years, since he left home to go travelling. This time, it's personal. And as the case of the missing girls unfolds, they will all find that even this far away, danger lies closer to home than you might think. Well, lots of our top crime authors have read this book and given wonderful reviews. Here are C.L. Taylor: intelligent, insightful and compelling. A clever, twisting whodunit that delivers an emotional punch. I loved it. A fast-paced whodunit with heart, characters I feel I know, and a deliciously dark twist. Superb writing, often blackly funny, and a scene that made me cry into my pillow. That's Gillian McAllister, Sunday Times bestselling author of Everything But the Truth. And the reviews go on and on with praise. So that is The Suspect by Fiona Barton. If you fancy a fast-paced, engaging and occasionally darkly funny thriller, get that, Fiona Barton, and it will be available, I would have thought, to download on
one of these days you'll remember I would have a go at Kobo.
Yes, that'll do.
If you haven't yet bought a book from Kobo before, head over to kobo.com at kobo.com, and if you find that book, which was The Suspect by Fiona Barton, and if you're completely new to Kobo, you can enter the promo code CRIME at the checkout and you get 90% off of your purchase of The Suspect by Fiona Barton, or buy any other book you choose to buy. Might I recommend one of ours? If you are an existing Kobo,
how very dare you.
If you're an existing Kobo customer, then you might, and I hesitate to accentuate the might, be able to use the partners promo code to get 40% off, but we're not entirely sure what's happening with that at the moment. Either way, you don't need a special e-reader or device. You can download the free Kobo app for your mobile phone or tablet, which is wonderful.
Oh, that's very good. I was stopped on the train going to London the other day by someone who listens to the show who was doing just that, reading a book on their phone.
Really?
Yes, that was very, very pleasant. I have to say
hello to that person.
Hello. It was Caroline, wasn't it?
Hello, Caroline.
Now, I haven't been here for a week, but in my place here in the studio, why is there a box of Fisherman's Friends in front of me?
Well, if you look around carefully, you'll see the place is actually littered with confectionery. If you look just slightly to the right of that, you'll see some chewing gum, and also a box of mint imperials.
Oh, right.
In fact, I might just grab these. Big shout out to Cartwright and Butler. Their classic mint imperials, as you can hear, are simply the best. I discovered them by accident and become addicted.
I've never had them.
Would you like one?
No, thank you. I'm having my Fisherman's Friends.
Fisherman's Friends. Okay.
They certainly work. My goodness me, menthol and eucalyptus flavour to blow your head off.
Well,
clear your tubes.
The amount of stuff and audiobooks and things I record in here, sometimes you get a little bit. Stuffy and you need opening up.
Yes.
So that's how
I'm allergic to your cats, aren't I? That's why I always take that's why very often I sound as if I've got a slight cold or whatever. But I do take an antihistamine, but it doesn't always work. Woe is us. Mint imperials. Can I have one?
You can indeed, yes. You have one while I'm going through this.
Okay.
See if you can have it sucked by the time I'm finished. CBC in Canada released a list. There's only the sound effects in the background. They released a list of 10 Canadian thrillers and mysteries to check out this summer. According to CBC, the list is Wherever She Goes by K.L. Armstrong, A Dance of Cranes by Steve Burrows, Though the Heavens Fall by Anne Emery, A Deadly Divide by Ausma Zanat Khan, A Matter of Malice by Thomas King, Someone We Know by Shari Lapina.
Excellent.
And The Kingfisher Secret by Anonymous.
Oh, why is that?
It's by an anonymous author, that's why. It says here, The Kingfisher Secret revolves around a beautiful Czech expat who's a long-time Russian spy. Her mission is to seduce wealthy and powerful men and learn their secrets. Her next target is an egotistical man running for President of the United States. Many of the details of this fictional story parallel facts that are known about, what do you know, Donald Trump and his first wife, Ivana Trump. And the publisher of the book says that the author has chosen to remain anonymous to protect his sources.
Hasn't Bill Clinton recently gone... Oh, sorry, should I have dropped that name in that particular place?
I don't.
He's just written a book with... God, this is delicious. You're quite right about these mint imperials. He's just written a book with Patterson, hasn't he? So maybe that's him.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yes.
He's also got the writing bug. The list continues with Hideaway by Nicole Lundgren, Your Life Is Mine by Nathan Ripley, and Vantage Point by Scott Thornley. That's the top 10 Canadian thrillers and mysteries to check out this summer, according to CBC. But more importantly, definitely, how's that Mint Imperial doing?
Well, I tell you, it's absolutely terrific. I'm not really given to mints, really, but oh my God, I can actually feel my breath sweetening with every suck.
I don't know what the constitution of your teeth is like, but if you don't fancy risking a crunch, there's a wonderful release of powdery sugar in the middle of that, powdery pepperminty sugar.
Well, I don't think I should do that on air. I think we might get taken off the airwaves. Not that we have airwaves anymore. It says here, yes, they're soft and crumbly sharp, peppermint sweets encased in hard sugar coating. Says nothing about a sweet release. There we are.
Did I say sweet release?
No, I don't know. It sounded like that to me.
Certainly didn't mean to. Anyway, I think I'm more or less done for this week, considering the fact we've had a week off. It's quite a nice lean episode. We rattled through it, didn't we?
We've rattled through it. I think, yeah.
Even with the diversion for Fisherman's Friend and Cartwright and Butler Mint Imperials, buy them now. Please send me another 5 boxes.
We've left this one out. It's ultra white chewing gum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to give that a go. Oh, it says it's good. It cleans and whitens your teeth as it goes. Oh, how splendid. That sounds like that, by the way. So, I think we're looking at 26 minutes, you see. I mean, we're leaving our listeners 4 minutes sort of under, really.
Should we talk about confectionery again? I think, actually, we could even introduce, if we do find ourselves 4 or 5 minutes short, we could introduce an optional confectionery section on the show. Just send us your sweets, basically. Send us your chocolates, and we'll review them.
What a wonderful idea.
Nothing to do with crime. Or we could just call them criminally good or something, just so we can kind of get away with it.
It's like sort of the old test match special where they used to get cakes sent to them and they used to eat them during test matches and pronounce judgment.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be good. It would be absolutely delicious. I mean, we'll both be 25 stone each by the end of the year if we carry on like that. But yeah, if you've got a favourite sweet you like, recommend, or even send us, please do. We will eat them and we will enjoy them, and we may even review them. We'll start a little sideline, another podcast. Sweet teeth.
Yeah, sweet teeth. Can you imagine that? Yeah,
Partners in sugar.
Partners in diabetes.
Oh, God, no. And this all started. Sorry, I started this line of with this sort of rogue packet of fisherman's friends. There we are.
Yeah.
Why have you got this book on the side, German for Dummies?
Because I'm learning German and I'm a dummy.
Ah, I see. I thought this was Boris Johnson's latest read. Just popped across to see Merkel. And,
we often kind of divert a long way away from crime fiction on this podcast.
Yes, well,
I think today we might have hit our limits.
I think we've got about as far as we can.
We're literally looking around the room to find things to talk about. Should we stop now?
Yeah, I can hear people in their kitchens groaning.
Yes. Careful, Alison.
Partners in Crime was presented by Adam Croft and Robert Dawes and produced by Adam Croft. The theme tune was by the Caesareans. The Partners in Crime logo and imagery were designed by Stuart Beisch. Partners in Crime is sponsored by Kobo, your favourite local bookshop, perfected.